All right. So my name is Lori McDowell, and you can reach me at tunefolk@gmail.com if you have any questions or any comments about this or actually anything in VBS. It's all good. So, a lot of times when we go to recruit our workers, let's start off with the Bible verse. Even though I had already said it, you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. And that is our theme Bible verse that really is it's what we do as Christians, period. That's what we should do as Christians, is that we need to continually seek him with all of our hearts, so we know who, so we can become closer and can do his work. Things that you can't rely on when you're trying to get people to work. And this is what we have done for years and years, announced from the pulpit, and now you just think everybody's going to come flocking to you after church. Put it in the newsletters, in the bulletins, put it on all your social media, email everybody. But when we are doing a data dump, it doesn't always work. Everybody, when they see these kind of things go out in the newsletters, they always figure that somebody else is being talked to, or we've got plenty of time to join and sign up and stuff. And then when they find out the job they really wanted isn't available, then they just kind of get discouraged and move on in life. And you may miss out on good workers because they didn't really feel like they were wanted or loved. So what we need to do is we need to figure out the best way to recruit people. And the first thing that we all need to always know is that God is in control. Not us, not COVID, not the government, not anything, not the children that are crying and screaming because they don't want to look at yet another Zoom. God is the one that is in control because he is bigger than our needs, and he wants and he will supply everything that we need in life. He doesn't give us always what our wants are, but he will always fulfill what our needs are. And because of that we know that God is going to give us the workers that are required to pull off our VBSs. You have to remember that God doesn't need us, but he uses us to fulfill his mission, okay, to get the word out that he is the one and only true God, that we need to go find Christ. We need to accept Christ in our lives so that we can live with him eternally. And so we need to pray to the God of the harvest, because he's going to provide the harvest. We do have to go out and we have to seek them. He's given us gifts that if we use them all together, we'll get all the tasks done that he needs to have done. And he enables us to do these tasks. We know that he enables us because a year and a half ago, none of us would have thought that we would know how to move around our computers quite so easily, and how to talk with people that are coming from around the world and across the United States, and talk about the joys of being Christians and being able to spread the good news through Vacation Bible School. God's not going to just sit back and wait for us to find the volunteers, or he doesn't want us to sit back ourselves and just wait for the volunteers to come to us. God uses all kinds of ways to get humans' attention. He's used burning bushes and big fishes and storms and visions and blinding lights, all those things to call people to him. And our job is, he wants us to seek those people out whom he has called. Our job is to go out and find those workers that God has called to come and do stuff. So we need to always pray that God is going to open our eyes to see the potential and to get the workers that are around us. You have to remember, Jan and Janice had mentioned about Elisha, and in 2 Kings 6:17, Elisha, in the midst of the battle, the servant said, "It's all is lost, and there's nobody here. We're alone." And Elisha prayed to God that God would open the servant's eyes, and when he did, the servant was able to see the multitude of angels that were there on their side, Elisha's and the servants, to fight the battle. So the battle belongs to the Lord, like the wonderful song goes. And so God wants our vacation Bible schools to be successful, that He wants us to go out, to reach our community, to create those connections for adults and children and everybody in between to come to Him and see Him as the loving God that He is and to serve Him. So when we go out, okay, so that was number one. Know that God is always in control. Okay. We don't have to worry about any of that other stuff. God is in control. Number two, we need to enlist and recruit with a vision. If you're only doing vacation Bible school because that's what we do every year, you're probably not fulfilling everything to its full potential. Okay. People want, when you go and you talk to people, you need to talk to people one on one. So, in our church, it's like we're small. And so every single person knows already that they're going to be part of Vacation Bible School. And these are the jobs that they are going to do. And so that's not quite the same. I had to laugh. The gentleman that was giving this talk that would at the annual Vacation Bible School conference. He is from Houston, in charge of all the children's ministries, and he is talking about, oh, I don't know, hundreds and thousands of kids that were all going to come, and how he was going to need hundreds upon hundreds of people to come, and how do you recruit them? And it's like, we're a small church and we all pitch in, but we still need to make personal connections when we do this, so that people do understand that we're not taking advantage of them. So we have to have a vision. And so we need to go back and, It's Worth It book. That is a wonderful book. It has so much information inside of it. And that's one way that you can help your congregation and your potential workers to know that we have a vision. We have a vision that the children and the adults in our neighborhoods we're going to reach them for God. So you need to make sure that you're going to have the best person possible who's in love with God and with Christ to do a job. You're not just filling up slots, and you're not filling in holes in your schedule. Um, you are actually pulling in people that have a love for Vacation Bible School and all it stands for. So, first off, God is in control. Second, enlist and recruit with a vision. Number three, you want to be enthusiastic and excited. Enthusiasm is contagious. If you're a happy person and you are like, woo, it's VBS, and I really want you. So I'll pick on Dale. Dale, I want you to come and do the recreation because you are so good with it. And the kids love the games. And if you're that kind of enthusiastic, then they can't help but feel wonderful inside themselves and go, yes, of course I will take on recreation again this year. Okay. Or it may be that you're talking to the youth and the youth are going, oh my gosh, you're going to make us into little worker bees. No, be enthusiastic. Let them know that they're a part of a bigger thing than themselves and they can have a lot of fun. So get excited, be enthusiastic. So God is in control. Enlist and recruit with a vision, and be enthusiastic and excited for VBS. And organization is your friend. Well, if you're like me and you are doing 17 different jobs already, and then somebody asks you a question about Vacation Bible School and you're not organized, then they're not going to want to be a part of it. So, yes, we have little graphs and grids and stuff that we plug in all kinds of information and pass out to everyone, because we want people to see that even though things can go crazy and go wrong occasionally, we still have an overall plan and we're going to stick to it if we can. Don't be a hot mess. I have enough problems with that already with being a hot mess. But when it comes to Vacation Bible School and people that we want to pull in, we want them to know that we are organized and we know what we need. We know how they can contribute. And that's important. If you've got a large enough church, you might want to have an organization chart so that you have the Vacation Bible School director up here, and then you have, this is the person for the kitchen, and this is the person uh, for missions, and this is a person for music, and this is a person for recreation, and then those people will have people underneath them. And maybe your church needs that big of an organization chart. Maybe your church is small like ours, and you don't need to actually make a chart, but you do need to have a vision. You have to be organized. You have to be able to put it together so that other people can see what your vision is for all of this. And I'm going to run out of time if I don't speed up. Number 4, know that God is in control. Enlist and recruit with a vision. Be enthusiastic. Organization is your friend, and share the joy. Have people that you've recruited to lead each area, to recruit people who will then help them. So once you have a person in charge of the kitchen and snacks, you shouldn't have to be responsible for going and finding however many helpers they have, not you by yourself. Have that person know who they can call on. Have them go out and recruit with enthusiasm and organization, and find the people to do them. You don't have to recruit all 100 people, if that's how big your church is, to do all of the different slots. Have the people that you have in charge of each of those sections go out and do some recruiting themselves. So you're sharing the joy of recruiting and the joy of VBS by letting other people, don't be a control freak, let other people help with that. Know that God is in control. Enlist and recruit with a vision. Be enthusiastic. Organization is your friend. Share the joy and use a job ministry description. So many times we ask people to go in and do something to be helpful, but we don't tell them what all it entails. We don't tell them what our expectations are. And then when things don't work, um, then we get very frustrated. But we need to have those things. So luckily, when you get, as a VBS director, I get the administrator's guide. And so inside of there, it tells me all the people that we need to recruit. And each of those people get their own set of books. So if you're doing music rotation, you get a music rotation book and stuff. So I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I may not know that I have to only do music during the opening and the closing rallies because we don't have time during COVID to make music its own little thing. I need to have that written out. I need to know so I can give it to that person, or if I'm the person getting it, I know exactly what is expected of me, when and how it's going to get done. And that way, hopefully, I will not let the rest of the VBS crew down. I know what it is I'm supposed to be doing. So know that God is in control. Enlist and recruit with a vision. Be enthusiastic. Organization is your friend. Share the joy. Use a job ministry description. And don't forget the men. In our church, I never forget the men because the men are so important. And whether they're teaching or whether they're leading different things, it they in our church everybody pitches in. It's just not always a female. Maybe you come from a very large church where the only people working in your children's ministry are the women, but the men actually are some of the most cool teachers out there. We that just because they're so much fun. Having a man in a room with little kids changes the climate. It changes the way the children behave. They will behave better, because that's just the way kids are. And that is okay. The men are supposed to take a strong position. Invite them, bring them in. However, you can't be a hot mess, and they want to know exactly what it is you expect them to do. And so you need to be able to go up and give them that organizational chart. Let them know exactly what's going to be included in what they're doing. And you will find that if you can get one man to come in and do it, they're going to bring some other guys in, especially if you know what it is that you're doing. So don't ever forget the men. They're a great resource. Know that God's in control. Enlist and recruit with a vision. Be enthusiastic. Organization is your friend. Share the joy. Use the job ministry description. Don't forget the men and consider the buddy system. I've done this once or twice. In fact, every year that we do Vacation Bible School at our church, we have the buddy system. I'm not the only VBS coordinator in our church. Susan is my co person. And so we divide it up. This is what she does. This is what I do. And it works great because neither one of us feel overwhelmed with and pressured with all of the stuff that is going on inside a VBS. Um, and you might have somebody else that says, oh, one of my best friends and I, we would love to do crafts together. Or maybe you have some husband and wife team that says, hey, we'll take on missions together. When you have people that are doing the buddy system, where they're with their best friend, whether it's a spouse or just another friend, they already know how to work with each other. They know how to get things done, and they already talk several times a week, or if you're married, hopefully several times a day. And so doing a buddy system may be a great way to fill some of those spots, people that can work with each other really well. And they would never do it on their own, but give them a buddy to do it and they're fine. Know that God's in control. Enlist and recruit with a vision. Be enthusiastic. Organization's your friend. Share the joy. Job ministry description. Don't forget the men. Consider the buddy system. And then you got to train and equip them. Well, as you can see, what we're doing today is we're training online, and you may have to do that yourself inside of your church. You may have to do your training video wise. You may be able to put them together. It may be that you get together, socially distance in your fellowship hall, and up on the wall, you could be watching training videos on the different parts of this so that you're not having to do all the training yourself. But you have to let people know if they're brand new and they've never done Vacation Bible School, let them know that, yes, I'm going to train you so you know exactly what we're doing and how we do it. And I'm going to equip you. What does equipping mean? Equipping means telling the person who's doing decorations they don't have to buy all the decorations. Telling the person that's doing crafts that they don't have to pay for the crafts. The church has a budget for that. Vacation Bible School has a budget for that. Let them know that it's not all going to be on their shoulders and they're not going to do this stuff on their own. You are there to help them and to support them and show them how much you appreciate them. And it's so important that you provide support. You need to find out, because in this world of COVID, we don't know for sure who may or may not be at risk for have an immune compromised system. We don't know who is going under stress because maybe their mom has caught it and they're not telling you about it. We have to provide support in general life in this COVID thing, but we also have to provide support when somebody calls you and they say, I just can't do tomorrow's lesson because I got to take the dog to the vet. Who knows? You've got to be there, and instead of getting upset or angry, you need to say, we can cover this and we know how to make this work, and show some appreciation. In our church, we get our t-shirts and we give them out to everybody as our thank you, we love you, and it also lets everybody know who you are. Those are our gifts to them. Some people, they get special lanyards that they can give to their leaders and stuff. If your church has a budget for that, show them support like that. Mention their names. Put up posters that say these are the people and here's their pictures of who's doing everything inside of VBS, so everybody knows how much you appreciate them. And make sure that the pastor appreciates you by not being a hot mess, because you're organized, because you got it all together, and your pastor is going to really love you, and he's going to want you to always be in charge of VBS. You show appreciation, hand out the recognition band. Boy, my brain just stopped. Uh, the certificates and stuff, those things. Have your pastor show appreciation for all of the workers that have done it. Have a special recognition Sunday going in so you can pray as a church for all your VBS workers. And then after VBS is done, have another little time of prayer from the pulpit or in the church service, thanking everybody. And now, because the work is never done just because VBS is actually stopped. So the things that you have to know: that God is in control. Enlist and recruit with a vision. Be enthusiastic. Organization's your friend. Share the joy. Use a job description ministry. Don't forget the men. Consider the buddy system. Train and equip every single person and provide support and show appreciation. Those are things that will help you uh, get and recruit good, godly people to help you create a VBS that is worth it for these kids and for these families and the parents, the adults that show up. Um, get to know God just a little bit better, or maybe get to know Him for the very first time.